What is up, world? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Delaney, and today we have a guest. We got Coach Michelle Franco, who lives in California. So let's applaud for Michelle Franco. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I am good. What about you?
I'm doing well. Just seeing
That's
my hair fly away.
it's okay. First, I would like to say thank you for giving me the time to interview you.
Of course.
Okay, so let's get started. Have you always wanted to be a coach?
No. So when I was a player, I always kind of sided with the coaches, but I never saw myself as a coach. I was a player. And I fell into coaching after I left college. So I was at USC, and my senior year didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go. And so, like a lot of players, I found myself kind of that love hate relationship with basketball, where now it was the thing that I loved, but it was being taken away from me. And so I actually went through like a really bad withdrawal kind of depression, where I didn't do anything with basketball for like a year. And then I got back into coaching through an opportunity. Someone asked me if I wanted to like help run a clinic, and it was through that I started to like find my love for basketball again. So it was by chance, but I'm really thankful that it happened, because otherwise I could have stayed in that limbo of like, do I love this sport or do I not?
Oh, okay, great story.
Thanks.
Mhm. So I see you went to USC, your former Trojan. So what you
Right on. Go ahead. Sorry.
what you get your degree in from USC?
Yes. So when I went in at USC, I was pre med, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. And then I tried to balance a work our full school schedule with basketball schedule. And I was like, no, I can't do this. So luckily, I kind of fell into this great group of people, and it was the Department of American Studies and Ethnicity, which is like history but focused based on like culture and like people. And so I was under the chair. I was kind of working for her as work study, and she's like, I really think you should do this. And at the time, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I really enjoyed the classes that I was taking under that particular major. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I think you're right. This is what I should do. So I was an American Studies and Ethnicity major, and I loved it.
Was that major really hard at first and then got easy?
For me, it wasn't difficult because I've always loved like all types of culture and people. And so for me, what I enjoyed the most is, like I tell this to people all the time, I've realized from studying different ethnicities, different races, different groups, that we're all more alike than we are different. And I think that it's like a misconception that people think like, oh, well, your story is different than mine. Like, yeah, there's things that are different that happen, but if you can like kind of go back to the history, you'll see that we do have like common threads. And so it was a great major for me because I work with people from all different walks of life, and I use that major almost every day, even though I'm not like technically working in it.
Oh, okay. So also what I see on my resume, you actually play basketball for USC.
Yeah, I played for 4 years, and it was a great experience. I had great teammates, great coaches, got to go some really cool places. And yeah, I think it's different, the experience of being an athlete at a university and just being a student. Like, if I could go back, I would think that there's some things that like at SC I wish I was a student for. Like, I wish I was a student for sororities. I wish I was a student for like clubs, because you just don't have time to do it when you're an athlete. And I feel like I missed out on a lot of the connections because I was in a sport, you know. But then at the same time, like you walk around campus and you have this and like people are really nice to you, so it had its plus side, but at the same time for like, I think longevity, I think being a student also has its benefits.
Okay, so why did you decide to go to USC?
Oh, it was my dream school. So I've always loved USC. It was, so my mom, she's from Mexico, and she migrated here when she was, I believe, 4 years old the first time, and she learned English. And they actually went to a school that was like a program that was on the USC campus. And so it was like her dream school first. And a lot of things I do in my life, I realize that now is to like continue the legacy of my family and my parents. And so it was in my head like USC, like you got to go to USC. Um, so I decided I wanted to go there. And it's funny because the other option I had that I was highly considering was UCLA. And I don't know if I made the right choice. I love SC. I love Bruins. Personally, I don't feel the rivalry. Like we talk mess, but we really love each other at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think USC was the right choice for me and my family.
Yeah, so you guys like talk mess, just like for ODU and NCAA. We always talk mess when it's football.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now get to your coaching. So you started off volunteering to be a coach at a middle school. So what was that experience like?
Definitely interesting. So I would say before the middle school, so that was kind of like the first in school um coaching I had done. But prior to that, I was doing clinics since I was like 18 years old. But I wasn't taking it seriously, if that makes sense. It was like working at McDonald's. You work a little bit, you get a paycheck, you come and go whenever you could. It wasn't till like later after I had my son that I really started considering coaching. And there was a need in the community. Like there wasn't many coaches that wanted to do it. The teachers are already working really hard. So for them to volunteer after, it was hard for a lot of them. So I coached seventh, eighth grade boys team. I think we won every game but one that season, and had a really good time. Like it was fun being in that school spirit, because it's different than like an outside program. Like your outside programs, like, oh yeah, you go here, 1, 2, 3 campus. But with the school, like, it's a sense of like your classmates are watching, your teachers are watching, your principals at your games. So I think I really really like that.
Oh, okay. So that's great to start off at a middle school. And also, not only you start off at middle school, now you are the head coach for the youth basketball program for the Los Angeles Clippers. So how did you work your way up to going far?
Yes. So with the Clippers, I'm a Clippers fan first and foremost, which from Los Angeles. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Okay, I'm on a talk right now. I told you I was
Do you know
doing
where
it.
the cotton candy is?
Yes, it's in the kitchen. Go ask grandma, okay?
Oh,
Sorry
so
about
sorry.
that. Yeah, I'm also a mommy, so full time. So okay, so with the Clippers, I'm a lifelong fan. Like I've always been a Clipper fan. And I was doing a clinic at a local school, and the Clippers were there, and they saw me coaching. And like in your mind, like I was coaching maybe like a fourth grader. Okay, so like not like a highly competitive kid, like we're going over basics. Um, but they liked what I was doing. And so the guy came up to me after and was like, hey, like, I really like the way your style of coaching. Would you be interested in working with us? And so originally I was just one of the coaches. I was just another coach under the Los Angeles Clippers umbrella. And I did that for 2 years. I really enjoyed it because I got to go to different cities. So I'm predominantly in the Inland Empire. I don't know if you know where that is, but it's like 40 miles west, or sorry, east of Los Angeles. And
Oh,
so I really didn't get to work with a lot of LA inner city kids. Like my kids are a niche, they're a niche group, and that's all I see. So with the Clippers, I was able to go into like Inglewood. I was able to go into Westwood. I was able to go to San Gabriel Valley or Temecula and all these other places where, like for me in coaching, my goal is always to leave a footprint or an impact on a child's life. And so being able to be able to touch these kids that I've never been able would have never been able to like meet before was huge. And so I did it for 2 years. And then I was offered the position as head youth director for the Agua Caliente. So that's like the G League of the Clippers, but it's still the Clippers. It's just like their development team. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And then it switched. So like where I said the Clippers where it was all about like LA and like reaching different kids, then the Agua Caliente, they're from Ontario. So that's like I live in Ontario. I bought a home in Ontario. So I was like, hey, I get to work with my community now, like, and I get to build basketball here. And so God's just good. Like honestly, that's how I feel is like he's always put me in positions to be able to help my community or reach outside of my community.
yeah, God is good. Always.
All the time.
Yeah. And also I see that you actually the assistant coach for the youth summer camp program at USC. How's it different than, being the head coach of the youth basketball program for Los Angeles Clippers? How's it different?
Yes. So the USC was when I was in college. So I would say that was my first taste of like clinics. And it's different in the size. So with the Clippers, we would typically have 40 to 60 kids at a site. And the USC camp could be like 100 to 200 kids. So it's way bigger. But I always enjoyed it. When you're a player, it's required. Like they don't tell you like, hey, you got to do this, but it's kind of highly suggested that you work the camps. But I always had fun with it. So it was a great experience.
Oh, okay, that's great. And also in high school, you were the assistant coach and you guys won championships back to back. Tell me, what was your coaching strategy in order for y'all to win championships back to back?
Well, that was a really cool experience because it was my first time coaching girls. So even though I'm a woman, I have coached since I've been doing it like professionally, mostly majority boys. And I love the boys game. And I had kind of always shied away from the girls game because it was something that I was honestly just nervous to get involved in, because I know how impressionable young high school girls are. And at the time, I was going through some personal stuff. I was no longer married. I was going through a divorce. So it was really difficult for me to see myself outside of like, me. But I was like, okay, there's a reason I'm here. There's a reason this opportunity is there. And so I took on a girls team as an assistant at the same school my son was at. So it was a K through 12 and it was an international school. So the experience was hard because the girls didn't speak English. So a lot of our kids were like from China. And luckily, basketball and bounce is the same in every language. um, so, like, I was just teaching them to the best of my ability. They worked really hard and we were able to accomplish something really amazing. But I think for me, what I got the most out of it was I was working under someone. So, like, before that, I had always been like the head coach. And I actually ran into this when I started working with Coach Cooper as well. But I was under Coach Johnson at Southlands, and he really taught me how to like structure practice differently, or how to do breakdowns and how to think outside. Because I think there's again a misconception that we know everything when there's so much to know. And so I'm constantly always trying to find coaches that I can learn under, because even no matter how high I get as far as like title or head coach or university, whatever it might be, like you still need someone to be kind of checking you, or trying to help you grow. So that's what I really got from Southlands. Sorry, Delaney, can I?
You looking forward to Cooper International Academy, or that was an open opportunity for you?
Okay, so I'm a very reserved person. This is like my probably third interview ever, if I don't count high school. Um, but I really felt last year with COVID and everything, God kind of tugging at my heart and telling me that I had to step outside of myself. And so I've always, like I told you earlier, I've always been a boys coach. I've always been a youth coach. I've done this for a while, and I was comfortable in those positions, right?
Mhm.
And so I was working out randomly at a gym in Chino, and I saw Coach Cooper and the prep boys, the Cooper International Academy. And so typically, if anyone knows me, I'm in a gym, I work out, and I leave. I don't talk to anyone. I don't check my phone. Like I'm about my business and I go. But I was like, I'm going to go say hi to him. And it wasn't anything of like, I want an opportunity or anything like that. I wanted to go say hi to him because he used to coach me. So he used to run clinics back when I was a kid, and I used to go to his clinics, and that's all I kind of said was like, hey coach, like, you don't remember me. It was a while back. It's been 20 years. But you know, you coached me and I wanted to just thank you for that. And we started to talk, and he's like, do you do girls? And I was like, no, I don't do girls basketball, but God's been trying to tell me, like, and he's trying to push me outside of my comfort. So it's something that I would consider. And so we exchanged cards or whatever, and that was that. And a week and a half goes by. I'm praying about it because I'm like, okay, God, like, I really don't want to do this. Like, you know how that is. Like, you're supposed to do something, but you're stubborn, and your pride's just telling you, no, you want to stay boys. You want to stay in your lane. And I was like, no, you know what? Like, I need to see what this is about. And so Coach Cooper and I talked, and we're working on building a girls prep academy in
That's
California.
great.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited because I feel like there really is a need for girls basketball to understand the different levels. It's not as easy as it used to be to just go to high school and go to college, and there has to be different routes to get there. And prep is definitely one. And then also bringing international girls, which would be an awesome opportunity for them to come to the United States to play. So I'm really excited. We're right now actively looking for players and hopefully going to build a super successful program that will mirror what Coach Cooper's doing with the boys' side.
I'm sure it's going to blow up in a good way.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, what did you love most about the Cooper International Academy?
Ooh, okay. I like it all, but the thing I always look for is a strong sense of family. And I think that Coach Cooper, not only does his program represent a family as far as the players, but his own family represents Cooper International. Like they're all hands on deck, like, whether it be Ebony or Eric Jr., everyone gets involved, and I love that. And I've just seen how close knit they are. And I've told coach this all the time, like, to me, life is not about what we accomplish or the titles that we get or the rings or the championships or anything like that. It's really about family at the end of the day. And I think his family is a great show of the success that he's had, because he's been able to grow a basketball program but still be a family man, and a lot of people can't do that. And for me personally, like, that's the same thing I want with my son. There's things that I turned down doing a camp with Kobe before he passed. because I needed my son to know how important he was to me. And I needed to spend that last week with him before he went back to summer or went back to school. It was for the summer. And that was a tough choice, like I've been like, Kobe, I've been waiting for this opportunity. He calls, okay, like let's work the camp. But in reality, like the sacrifice of like putting my son first will always be more important. And so I think that's what I love about Cooper International is it's a family ran program. It's a family mentality. You get a sense of that. And that's why I want to continue with it and with the girls side.
Okay, yep, family's always first. Yeah, when Kobe Bryant passed away too, I thought it was a trick.
Right?
Yeah, no.
It was sad.
Yep. And also, what I see is not only you're a basketball coach, you're a director of marketing, a mentor, and a tutor. How do you balance all four of those jobs?
You just got to do it. I start my day at 6 a.m. I end my day at 10 p.m. every day. So that's how I look at life is like, it's just wherever there's a need, here I am. God send me, whatever you need me to do. Marketing was dope. I really enjoyed it. So a lot of people don't know about this about me. Before I was a coach, I worked for like sports marketing, social media marketing for a tire company. So that was like my first job out of college. I really just wanted to get experience and I loved it. I had a really, really good time. I had a great marketing department that allowed me to take chances. I directed commercials. I ran campaigns. I was activating on sites at USC, the New York Jets games. Like it was cool. And then I had a kid. And I realized like as cool as this job was, I couldn't be away from him in that capacity. And so I ended up actually taking a hiatus of about 2 years to raise my son, which a lot of people are like, you don't need to do that. But for me, like how I felt about my kid, and how I feel about family from what I've spoken so far about, like I don't get those years back. So I took some time off. I helped do some like small independent companies. I was doing their marketing for them. And then I was like, okay, my son's like 2.5. I could probably like put him in daycare maybe a couple days a week and feel okay, because it's a struggle. That's like the working mom struggle, right? And so I ended up going back into corporate. I left corporate, I went back into corporate, and I was working for Tesla. So Tesla was a super cool company. I worked my way from like the bare minimum sales job, product specialist, up to like basically an assistant manager in about a year and a half. And it was cool. The cars are amazing. I got to take them home sometimes. They were a lot of fun. But again, I felt like I didn't see my family anymore. So I had got out of working corporate because I wanted to raise my kid. And then I went back into corporate and it was okay at first. But then as I moved up, the responsibility and the hours, they were just too much. Like I was working 55, 60-hour work weeks. I was that parent that was dropping my kid off at 6 a.m. and picking him up at 6 p.m. So he was doing a 12-hour preschool day. But like I missed out. And so like I do a lot of times in life, I have to reevaluate what am I doing? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this the purpose? Is my purpose being utilized in this capacity? And it wasn't. So I stepped away after about a year and a half. And that's when I decided to go full-fledged into coaching. And it really was something that I needed. But I think it was also the best choice for my kid. Like now I'm able to drop him off at school in the morning. I'm in line for pickup. If he needs something, I'm always available. I don't coach until the afternoon. So it's just been my way of being able to balance, like I want to work, but I also want to be a mom. And even with future opportunities, like it'll always be that balance of like, okay, well, is my son good? Is he, are we okay? Can I go take this chance on this job? And that's always kind of in the back of my head.
All right. So you always like being a mom first before you know get to everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, for direct marketing, because you know marketing is about coming up with some great ideas. Was there a time
Yeah.
you came up with a great idea?
Oh man, yeah. I've come up with quite a few. So, I used to run like campaigns on Facebook. So when I first started at this tire company, um, social media was not being used at all. Like people were like talking about it. Like we had Facebook pages, but companies weren't using it. So I grew the fan base on this particular company from, I think we were like at 3,000 to 289,000 in like 8, 9 months. And I was actually, yeah, it was huge. And I was actually like a personality, because they were talking to me and I was talking back, like we were talking about cars and tires and different things. And so it was really interesting to see just like how a brand can, how you can personify a brand, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like people are going to buy what they want, but they're coming to this place because of who their the voice of the company is. So I ran some campaigns. I did with USC. I did a lot of it was grassroots. So this is before ads. This is before people were like literally putting stuff into your feed. I had the idea of contacting a bunch of the sororities and fraternities on campus, and we had like co-branded merchandise. So it would be say like USC and then Kumo. And I called it swag bags. Basically, like you had your little bag, you had hats, you had your little wristbands, you had t-shirts, you had all these cool things. And I said, hey, sororities, fraternities, I would like you guys to wear some of this stuff, take a picture, and then share it onto your page. And then from there, whatever picture gets the most likes on our page, so it's driving traffic to us, they'll get a VIP tent at a USC game. And it went really, really well. Like, yeah, the students loved it. You were seeing our co-branded stuff all over the place. And then to the end of it, for them to have like that experience of being at the top of the Coliseum in a private tent with all you can eat, it was great. It was amazing.
My goodness, that's great. Never heard of those ideas. I'll try that one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your favorite part about being a coach since you seem like you love it a lot?
Ooh. Um, I that's tough. I love so many aspects of coaching. Um, I would say on a day to day, I love the development. I love seeing players grow. I love seeing a kid get it for the first time, right? Like, so like that moment where what I'm teaching, like, oh, it works. And they're like so surprised, but I'm so happy because once they get it, that's where confidence comes in and they can start to like really believe in themselves. But then I also love like games. I think that's been the hardest part of this pandemic for me is I don't get a coach outside as much anymore. And so I was going from a tournament every weekend. Like every weekend I had a team playing. And it's wearing. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially travel ball. Like it's a lot of like your voice, you're being vocal, you're out there. There's a lot of ups and downs, emotions, players, all that stuff. But I love motivating. Like if I would say something that I do well is like that pregame talk, that motivational part, like God literally just speaks through me. And there's times I don't know what I say. I'm just like, okay, well, that was pretty cool. But I missed that. So like I was going through, I was laughing because I was literally going through and at in the kitchen, like doing a pregame pep talk, like, oh yeah, guys, are we ready? And like people, I'm sure my mom and my son were looking at me like, what is wrong with her? But I just miss it. Like I miss being able to get people, yeah, like, so I can't wait until things open back up and I can get in a huddle. I can get in a huddle and motivate a kid and just make him like really believe in that. Like I always say, energy is contagious. So if I can spread a little bit of my energy to them and they can spread it to the next player, before you know it, all the players are on fire.
Yeah, COVID really ruined everything.
It did.
Before COVID. Now let's get to some of the fun questions. Name 2 words that would describe yourself.
Compassionate and charismatic.
Very good. I love that answer.
Thanks.
Okay. And also, if you can play against one of the WNBA basketball players, who would you play against? She can be retired.
Ooh, she's not retired yet. Diana Taurasi. I'm from Chino.
Yeah.
So Diana Taurasi is like our hometown hero, legend. When I was a kid, she used to ref my games. And like I would hit like three-pointers and I would look at her and I'd be like, did you see it? Did you see it? And then she'd like run down the sideline because she'd be reffing. And my dad would be like, she wants to be like you. I was like, yeah, I do. So I definitely, that would be the one player I'd want to go against. She'd probably smoke me, but it's okay.
It's okay. And also, if you can like play against one of the NBA players, who would you play against? He can be retired.
Ooh, that's a good one too. He also is an older player, not quite retired yet, but I would go against Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
I love Melo. Like his game is amazing to me.
Hey.
I feel like we would be playing, but he'd be teaching me at the same time.
Oh, okay. Carmelo Anthony's real good. Like, remember those braids in the Denver Nuggets?
Yes. I love those braids.
Next, what is your favorite basketball movie?
Oh, we were just talking about this today. So my favorite basketball movie is Above the Rim.
Oh, okay. I've got that from anyone before.
Really?
Yeah, really. Always got Space Jam, Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball is the second favorite, especially come on USC. I have to rep it. But Above the Rim was nitty gritty like basketball. It was a good movie.
Oh, okay. So right now, since you're like in the coaching journey, who would you like to thank for this, like, coaching journey you're on? Like, say thank you to.
Ooh. All right. I'd have to start off with my dad. He is my first coach ever. And then I would say thank you to his name's Lyle Honda, and he ran a program called SGV. They're the ones that like got me fundamentally sound. I'd have to thank my high school coach, Richard Ward. He was amazing. We won 3 CIF and 2 state championships. So I had a lot of hardware in high school. I would like to thank Mark Track. He was my coach. Him and Jody Wynn and Derek Wynn were my first set of coaches at USC. And then USC after, I got to play for Michael Cooper. Always got to thank Coach Coop. And one person I wouldn't ever want to leave out before Coach Coop was Urban Monnier. And I don't know where he's at now. He was at Temple for a little while, but amazing coach. And he's one of the guys that really believed in me. So yeah, they're all a part of my basketball story. And how could I forget now Coach Cooper, Eric Cooper, not to be confused with Michael Cooper. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you again for allowing me to interview you. Best of luck with Cooper International Academy as one of the new coaches.
Thank you so much, Delaney. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.